This year, I got engaged. And the most frequently asked question which I get is for how long have we been dating before my fiancé actually proposed to me? And here's the twist. We never dated. A couple months into talking, he told me that he wants us to be official, and I told him that I actually don't want to date. And he asked me, does it mean that you just want to skip a step? Huh? I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect him to say that, but things were going so great between us that I was like, actually, maybe. And he was like, all right, let's get married tonight. Oh, wait, this is not how the way things work in my family. You have to talk to my father first. You have to ask for his permission to even propose to me. And plot twist, my parents didn't even know that I was talking to anybody at that point. So I had to call my parents and let them know that somebody wants to ask for my hand. And it was such a crazy conversation for me to have because usually my parents know absolutely everything about my life. But when it came to this relationship, I was like, I don't know where it's going. That's why I don't want to tell my parents about it yet. And then I just called them and I'm like, hey guys, so it seems like I might be getting married if I get your blessing, and he wants to talk to you and ask for your permission. And today I want to tell you the list of questions which my father has asked my fiancé before my dad said yes to propose them to me. First of all, I understand that it might be an old-fashioned approach, but it's a part of my culture. My father is from Dagestan.
Send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
That's why I would never get married without my parents' approval. Moreover, I know that my parents would never say no if they knew that I want to do this, so it's more about respecting the tradition. And plus, I'll be honest with you, I definitely felt protected when my dad was asking him questions. So the way it usually works is the guy meets the family face to face.
Ireland, New York, Brooklyn or Moscow, doesn't matter. Tell me, where?
But because there are a lot of mess with our immigrations right now, with both my fiancé and my parents, we decided to do a Zoom call. And because I knew that he's gonna propose to me, I was a part of that Zoom call. So it was my parents, me, and my fiancé. And right before we had this conversation, my dad called me. And he asked me just one question. Albina, do you love him? And I was like, I do, Dad. And my dad said, then I'm willing to talk to him. Just so you understand, when my brother-in-law, at that point, my sister's boyfriend, wanted to propose to my sister, I was the one who was translating. He speaks English, my parents speak Russian, and that's why I was translating the questions and his responses. I could have translated some things in a manner which would benefit both of the parties. Parents, I hope you never heard this. But because of that, I already knew that my dad is the type of guy who's gonna ask tough questions. So I told my fiancé right away that be prepared that he will not have any boundaries because it comes to me, and when it comes to me, my dad will not stop at anything. So I warned my fiancé right away that he will be asking you about your personal life, about your family, about your finances. He might literally ask you how much you have on your bank account right now. And I also asked my fiancé, is there anything you are not comfortable talking about so I can warn my parents about it? And he said, I'm an open book, he can ask me anything. And that also gave me confidence and it just made me feel great overall. So we get on a Zoom call. I was so nervous, guys. I was literally sweating. And we start having a small talk, everybody's smiling, and my dad is like, so are you gonna voice why we're here? Because we were like, well, it's kind of obvious why we're here. My fiancé was like, yes, I'm here to ask for your daughter's hand because I love her. And my dad is like, well, okay, now I understand the agenda. So let's start with the questions. Is everybody cool with that? And we were like, yeah, everybody's cool. So my dad asks the first question. I thought that the first question would be easy because I was like, well, we're just getting started. And just so you understand, as we're on Zoom, I see how my dad takes like a piece of paper where he already wrote down the questions. And he's like, all right, so my first question for you is, why did your previous relationship end? I was like, we are starting with drama. Am I sweating right now? Jesus. And the second part of the question of why your relationship has ended was, usually we blame the other party, but I want to know, what did you do wrong? And the reason why my dad asked this is because accountability is very important for my dad. My dad is a businessman, and he wanted to know that my fiancé can also have lessons learned from his previous relationship so he doesn't repeat the same mistake in our relationship. I also loved being a part of that conversation because I was like, well, I know why his previous relationship ended, but I wonder what he's gonna tell my parents. And he told my parents exactly the same thing, which he has been telling me. And I know that it was uncomfortable. At least it was uncomfortable for me. Everybody else didn't look uncomfortable. But my dad really respected the fact that he was honest. And I think it set the tone for the entire conversation, that we're here for honesty and transparency. And if we've done something wrong in the past, now we're family and we will figure out how to solve problems together. The second question was if he sees himself as a father. And what he responded was also an honest reply, is that he didn't see himself in this role before he met me, but now he's very excited to have children. And I myself, I love children. Two of my older sisters, they also have children. And I was always worried that I wouldn't be a good mother. And right now I'm 28. And when I was 18, I was like, I will have my first child when I'm 22. Luckily that didn't happen because now thinking back, I was such a child myself. I don't even understand how people have children at 28, the age where I currently am. There are still so many things which I have to figure out. I don't know how to have children, but he gives me such confidence that he will make my motherhood experience so amazing. What I'm envisioning for now is after we get married, I want to spend 1 year, just two of us. I want to make sure that my business is on the stage where I can take a break and everything keeps on working. But then I want to be a mother, I guess. He made me believe that I can be a good mother, and he just makes me feel super excited about motherhood, so we are very much aligned with him on that. The reason why my dad asked that is because my dad absolutely loves all of his grandchildren. And when I was thinking about my dad before, I always thought that this man was brought into this world to be a father. But then I also witnessed what type of grandfather he is. So I know that my dad really wants me to have children, but my parents are never pressuring me about those things because they believe in my independency and they would never pressure me towards certain things. But the reason why my dad has asked this question is because it was important for him to know that we are aligned on our vision. So nobody is disappointed. And he also wanted to make sure that both of us have discussed this and he's not the first person who's asking us this type of question. The third question was, tell me, what do you do for work? Obviously, my dad already knew the response to this, but he wanted to hear it from him because my father is a businessman. My fiance was also working in corporate before, but now he has his own business for a while. So I think this topic helped them to bond. And I think that was also the reason why my dad asked this question, because he wanted to find some similarities between them, so it's easier for them to talk down the line and they can relate to each other based on this experience. My dad really respects his business journey, and since my father is a businessman and he knows how business works and how the finances around business work, he asked him the next question. Are you willing to sacrifice your comfort for the financial well-being of Albina? I was like, is the man talking from his experience? My dad is a strong believer that a man should be a provider for the family and woman should just enjoy her life. And my dad wanted to make sure that he understands the responsibility of starting a family. When you're starting a family, your goal as a man is to make sure that this family is well fed, that they're in comfort. And my dad also highlighted the fact that I'm used to a very luxurious life thanks to my dad. And my dad asked him, do you know how much money Albina spends? And my fiance does know how much money I spend because I remember my fiance and we showed each other our bank statements. I showed him how much I'm spending every month. He did the same for me. He was spending way less before he met me. And when my father asked my fiance, do you know how much Albina spends? He called the exact number, how much I was spending every month since we started talking, because he pretty much started covering all of my expenses. And my fiance also asked me, Albina, have you ever used your cards in my presence? And I was like, no, I never did. And you know what my fiance gifted me on my birthday before we even got married? He gifted me half of his company, which so reminded me of my dad because my mom is the owner and co-founder of every business which my dad has. And in my eyes, it's just a symbolism that going forward, we're building everything together and we're always putting each other's interests above our own. I was the one who said that I will not get married without a prenup, and he supported my decision, and he pretty much told me, you lawyers can draft anything up, I will sign anything. And I was like, no. I know that it's my responsibility to protect you too. So both of us have to get good lawyers and make sure that we are writing the things which are protecting both of us. And I can talk about our prenup in the next video if you guys are interested in this. My dad always wants to make sure that I have my own money. And when I was telling my dad later after this conversation that my fiance bought me this, and then he got me this, and then he got me this, my dad was like, Albina, he's a young businessman. Don't let him spend all of the money on you. And I was like, but you told me that I have to be spoiled and all of this. So I think my dad is a very realistic person, and that's why my dad and my mom got along so well, is because regardless of how much money my dad was making, my mom is a very conservative woman when it comes to spending. My dad is the one who's always convincing my mom to go buy this and that, and my mom is the type of woman who's like, I don't need any of this. But luckily my dad has 3 daughters, so there was never a spending problem because everybody kept on spending money. But I was also growing up understanding that making money is very hard, and you have to prioritize savings, you have to prioritize growing your business, you have to always reinvest. And of course, money is also there in order to enjoy it. So it's not like you can never spend it. So the goal is to find this good middle, right? The next question, which my dad asked, where are we going to live? Because I've been living in the United States for a long time, and it took me a lot of blood, tears and sweat, not to be dramatic, to get a green card. That's why it was important for my dad to know that just because I fell in love, I'm not going to drop all of my plans and forget about this. That's why my dad wanted to ask my fiance, what are your plans and how are you going to accommodate Albina's green card so she's on the success path which she has built for herself a long time ago. I think it also reminded me that regardless of my relationship, I should also remember about my personal goals. And once I meet somebody, we are accommodating each other's plans and we're not messing with them. So he responded to this question. I'm not going to share the details of this because I think it's very personal regarding where we're going to live and how we're going to accomplish that. And I'm saying it's very personal, like my entire channel is not about super personal things, but I hope you guys understand why I'm not going into details about this one in particular. The next thing was about, is his family going to make me feel like I'm a part of their family? Because what my dad told my fiance is that if we will get married, he can know that he's going to be a part of our family. My parents will make him feel welcome, and my parents will treat him with a lot of love and respect. And my dad wanted to make sure that I have the same when it comes to his family. Once again, I'm not going to get into the details about my fiance's family, but my fiance gave a very honest response about this. And my dad appreciates honesty over anything else. And I think he gave a very good response to that part as well. There were more questions, and let me know if you want me to share the list of all of the questions in the comments, and I'll be happy to do that. But those are a few which stood out to me. As he was answering, my mom was like, oh my God, you're so structured. Are you like a Capricorn? And he was like, no, I'm actually Leo. And my mom was like, my father used to be Leo too. And I knew that my mom doesn't need any more answers after this because my mom was sold. Then I was like, Mom, do you have any questions? And my mom was like, I don't have a question. I just want to say something to him. And just so you understand before I go into the details of what my mom said, in my family, my dad was always more of an emotional one. Even though at work my dad is like this alpha male, at home my dad is a very soft man, very understanding. And my mom, she is very gentle, very understanding, but she's also like strict. My mom's goal was to never spoil us. And you know, when I see my dad being like a little bit emotional, it always melts my heart, but it's more expected for me. But when it comes to my mom, to see her in this moments of vulnerable love is very unexpected for me. When she was talking to my fiance, she just told him, I want you to know, oh my God, I'm even gonna get emotional right now. She said, Albina is a very sensitive girl. She feels very deeply, and on top of that, she's extremely responsible. And I feel like sometimes she's carrying too much responsibility on herself. So if you are to get married, I want to make sure that you cherish how sensitive she is, you protect her feelings, and you also allow her to be less responsible, and you can take over some of that responsibility. And when my mom said this, I was like, damn, my parents know me so well. To hear her say this was very emotional. The reason why I felt so great about my family asking my fiance those questions is because I think it gives you such a strong position when your partner knows that you come from a strong family where nobody can mess with you. You come from a place where you were protected, and I think it creates additional safe space in your next place, because I think nobody will mess with the family who's so close and who's literally asking you direct questions about how are you going to treat your daughter? Here are the circumstances of what is going to happen if you do not treat her well. And it made me understand how much time, love and effort my parents raised me with. And I think when I started thinking about marriage seriously, when I met my fiance, I realized that for me, it's not just feelings. I love him so deeply. Like, he gives me butterflies when I think of him. But what he helped me to understand is that I'm choosing, first of all, a role model for my future children. And I'm choosing the person with who I'm gonna be for the rest of my life. I don't know if you guys seen this picture, the graphs of how much time you spend with, for example, your parents. When you were a child, you're like together all the time, and then your roles kind of like separate. Then with your siblings, with your friends, with your first love, and then with your children. And your partner is like a very consistent thing in your life. You will have to go with your partner through the birth of your children, through loss of family members, through your children going to college. This is going to be the person with who you're going to be the most. And another thing is, if your children end up being just like your partner, imagine they took 0 traits from you. Would you be proud of them? And now when I'm looking at my fiance, I hope that my children are going to be just like him, because I'm so proud of him. I'm so inspired by him. And if I were to have children who are just like him, I would be beyond blessed. We make each other stronger. We share our values, we share our goals, and it just makes me feel super excited about the future. I recently met my friend and she asked me, are you nervous about the wedding? And I was like, if I was nervous, I wouldn't say yes. And when I said it out loud, I was like, wow, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed that I can respond to a question like this without having any second thoughts. And I think the main reason why I'm so excited about marriage is because my parents never hurt me. I was never hurt by my parents, and I've never seen my parents hurt each other. I grew up believing in love, and I grew up believing in a family unity. Let me know if you were introducing your partners to your parents and what type of questions they have asked. I'm very curious to read, because low-key, I'm already preparing to ask my children's future partners those type of questions. When we finished that conversation on Zoom, my fiance was like, so is it a yes? Is it a no? Can I propose? And my dad was like, oh, I don't know, I don't decide. I'm gonna call my mother now, because in our family, it's also a tradition that you have to ask your elders first and they have to give an approval. So I don't know, family respect is a huge part of my identity. And it was shocking for my fiance. He was like, oh my God, I thought your dad is gonna make the final decision. And I was like, oh, the whole family has to agree. But after we spoke, both of us were so excited. I also spoke with my parents separately after we had this conversation, and everybody just got along, and it was such an amazing feeling. So we're now preparing for the wedding, and I'm beyond excited. My dad is in charge of choosing my dresses, and I think he's gonna be helping my fiance with the suit. So I'm very excited about my wedding. I'm excited to share some glimpses of it with you guys. And a lot of people are asking me to show my fiance. We agreed that I'm gonna show him fully for the first time on our wedding. So stay tuned for that. Please like and subscribe, guys. It really helps our channel to grow. Please put a like, please, come on. And drop a comment, because we're about community building here, so we want to hear your thoughts and share ours. Thank you for always supporting me on this journey. It's such a blessing to deliver to you guys, and I will see you very soon. So as always, do whatever you want with this information.